What's up everyone and welcome to another Mass Effect 3 commentary. The New Earth DLC just came out, and with it came 6 new characters, and I believe 3 new weapons and 3 new maps. Now after playing it for a bit, I wanted to share my impressions of the new character classes, and provide some tips and strategies that I've learned as I've been playing the DLC. So the character we're looking at right now is the N7 Destroyer. He's a new variant for the soldier class. He's pretty much like a walking tank. It describes him as a walking turret in one of the skills, and he can dish out a lot of damage in a short amount of time, especially if you use assault rifles, which I think are the best weapon to use with this guy. So he's a pretty powerful soldier class variant. But anyways, let's get to the skills that he has. So the first skill of the N7 Destroyer is Devastator Mode. It's one of those passive power abilities in that once you activate it, it'll remain active until you press the button again to deactivate it. Once you activate it, you'll get this red HUD-like thing, and you'll get like a kind of secondary view on the bottom right. That secondary view really doesn't help with anything. I think I've seen like some enemies like pop out of smoke that was thrown, but I wouldn't guarantee it. It's pretty much just an aesthetic thing. It's just to look nice. It's not really functional. But aside from that, this mode is actually really good, and it's probably the mode that you'll use the most as this character. Once you're in this mode, you get increased weapon damage, increased fire rate, and an increased magazine size. Now this is technically all dependent on how you choose your perks within the perk tree. And my particular character is set up so that that weapon damage is increased the most. There is a downside to using this mode though, and that's that your movement speed will be reduced a bit. But it really isn't that bad. Like before the Devastator mode is active, you kind of move around I would say a little bit less than the normal soldier class, the human soldier class, about that speed. And after it's active, you kind of slow down to about the speed of, I would say, a Krogan. So it's really not that bad, and it's why in almost all the gameplay clips that you'll see in this video, I will always have it on unless I need to make a quick escape or get somewhere quick. But yeah, the downside is really not bad, and all the benefits is definitely worth keeping it as long as you need it. I think that the best weapons to take advantage of this mode are heavy assault rifles. In this video, you see me using the Revenant a lot. I also use the Phaeston, or also the Geth Pulse rifle, I think. But just use whatever heavy assault rifles that you have, and I think you'll find that this Devastator mode really improves their damage output, refire rate if you choose that. It can also improve accuracy. There's a perk in the skill tree that improves that. I haven't really tried the other weapons. I have tried like sniper rifles. I really didn't notice too much of an improvement. I guess you could use some of the fast firing sniper rifles, but they just don't fire enough to see a really an increased damage. And I think that has to do with just how fast, because even though the fast-firing sniper rifles can fire pretty fast, they just don't fire fast enough so that the damage kind of grows. I don't want to say exponentially, but it grows pretty fast compared to the sniper rifles. Now the next skill for the N7 Destroyer is the missile launcher. I'd have to say that the missile launcher is probably the weakest of the 3 main skills that the N7 Destroyer has. It just really doesn't do that much damage, and its firing mechanism is a little weird. Like, I didn't get it at first when I first tried out this guy. It's auto firing, so it's kind of like a passive mode, just like the Devastator mode was. So you activate it, and it'll like fire periodically on auto. You'll notice at the beginning of the video I really didn't spend a lot of points in it, but previously I did spend all the way to the top of the skill tree, and I had chosen It wasn't the Hydra. I forgot the name of it. But yeah, I maxed it out, and it still did not do that much damage, especially to the heavier enemies. Um, I haven't tried the Hydra, but from what I read, it reduces the payload output, so it probably doesn't improve it that much anyways. It has a pretty significant drawback too. Once it's active, your max shields drop, and it's from what I've noticed, it's a pretty significant drop. Like when I was playing on gold difficulty missions, I would be taken out pretty quickly when I had the missile launcher activate, compared to when I didn't. So the only way I see that this is really helpful is when you're in a group and most of the fire is not drawn towards you, it's drawn towards your teammates. You could use it as a way to supplement your primary assault rifle. It'll kind of like start firing off automatically, and it'll kind of like supplement the damage that you. I guess another thing that helps is it's sort of homing. So you can kind of make it curve around corners if you're good, but I think the initial firing angle is kind of weird. So a lot of times, especially in cramped maps, the missile will hit walls and it won't hit the target. So yeah, I only use it sparingly. I don't use it. I just use it to supplement my attacks if I'm in an open space and most of the fire is drawn on my teammates. Now the last skill for the N7 Destroyer is the multi-frag grenade launcher. As the name suggests, when you use this ability, your character will send forth at least 3 grenades out. From what I've seen, it's pretty powerful, but it is pretty inaccurate. So my suggestion is to only use this when you're in pretty close proximity to a group of enemies. You don't want to like throw the multi-frags out when you're pretty far away, like you could, for example, as a regular soldier with regular frag grenades. And from what I've seen, I think the individual frag grenades are less powerful than your standard frag grenade from the regular soldier class. That's to be understood, like as balancing, of course. But overall, it's a pretty good skill to use, especially to flush out enemies from cover. You could use it to get enemies hiding under low cover too. And it can whittle down some of the larger enemies like Geth Primes, Atlases, or Banshees down pretty quickly. So you'll definitely be using this skill a lot. Now the N7 Destroyer is pretty good against all the enemy types. I haven't seen him really either take an advantage against one particular enemy type or like a disadvantage against another. I think some of the tricky ones can be, I guess in Cerberus, the tricky ones can be the Guardians, but that can easily be overcome through your multi-frag grenades. Just kind of lob it, either like try to lob it behind them so that they just catch the frag grenades, as you would with any grenades with any other class. The Destroyer's weakness is probably in long-range combat, especially if you're using a heavy assault rifle. So that means Nemesis aren't really much of a problem, but definitely on the Reaper side, the Ravagers will definitely pose a problem, and on the Geth side, the Rocket Troopers will pose somewhat of a problem. Not as much as the Ravager, though. Of course, this can be rectified, though, depending on which heavy assault rifle that you choose. The Phaeston and the Geth Pulse rifle are pretty accurate, just off the top of my head. And if you play in a close quarters, cramped map, it shouldn't be too much of a problem. You do need to be careful on some open maps, like the new map, Firebase Rio, is pretty open. So that gives especially the Ravagers, a pretty easy way to target you, so you just have to be careful of that. The Destroyer is most effective when you have N7 Demolisher on your team. That's one of the engineer classes from the DLC. because he has a supply pylon. So if if you have one on your team, try to make use of their supply pylon. Position yourself near that pylon, because you will be burning through ammo pretty quickly, and the supply pylon will supply you with the ammo and the grenades that you need to be effective. I have tried playing as this guy in the platinum difficulty, and it did not go well. I couldn't even get past the first wave. I don't think it's the fault of this particular class. It's more so, I guess, my upgrades and my weapon levels. But it was pretty hard. Platinum is pretty hard, I will say that. The enemies, especially the heavy enemies like Banshees, Geth Primes, they take a lot of damage. But anyways, the N7 Destroyer, it's a pretty fun character to play. It reminds me a little of the Heavy from Team Fortress 2. He's like a walking tank, basically. And if you like holding down your weapon trigger, just definitely play as this class. But anyways, thanks for watching. I plan to hopefully do more videos like this on the rest of the DLC characters. So that's 5 more classes I have to go through. Hopefully I'll get around to it within a week or so. Depends on how fast I unlock the characters. I haven't unlocked them all yet, so we'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.